everyone, it's Justine and I'm killing two birds with one stone today. I'm designing for the AAA Card Challenge Tag Challenge, as well as I'm guest designing for Gerda Steiner Designs or GSD Stamps. She had contacted me about her stamps and I took a look at them and decided to give them a try. They're really great, really adorable images and super high quality. Now before we get started, I wanted to mention that Ingrid Oberink, you're the winner of the $50 gift certificate from my 10,000 subscriber YouTube video. Congratulations, I'll contact you. So I said yes to making a video and thought I'd give her a little bit more of exposure and also be able to try out a new stamp company, which was really exciting. So to start, I'm die cutting a tag here with the stitched dies from My Favorite Things. I cut it out of manila cardstock. Manila works really great with distress inks. It's one of the best papers to use with distress inks. And it makes, if you're covering the whole background, then you won't even notice that it's sort of this beige color. I'm going to start with some mustard seed and I'm just laying colors randomly onto the tag, and I'm continuing on with picked raspberry. I'm going for a Northern Lights sort of galaxy look here. And after I was finished with the picked raspberry, I moved in with some dusty Concord. And then it's time to really darken it up with some of the other colors. For example, pine needles, chipped sapphire, and black soot do a really great job at darkening up the card. You can even leave out the pine needles if you'd like and just go with black soot or with black soot and chipped sapphire. Both of them work really well. I like to clean my surface in between colors, especially when I'm working with these really dark colors, because if they blend together on the mat, you might not get a true color on the card. It's also really good to dry your surface as well in between wetting it and cleaning it, because the inks will react differently with water. So I'm filling in some of the white spots there with some of the chipped sapphire, and now I'm going to darken up the whole image by adding some black soot. So I'm starting off by going around the edges, and then I'm going to start darkening up the middle to make it more realistic looking as a night sky. You can see it slowly starting to come together now with the edges being blackened, and I'm just going to go over with a light hand over the whole image and darken up all the colors. The last finishing touch is I just splattered some white paint from Dilutions onto my tag by tapping a paintbrush. So now I'm going to get started, and I'm going to be using the spaceship stamp, and I'm inking that up with Memento ink and stamping it onto a scrap piece of paper. I'm also grabbing one of the aliens that comes in the stamp set, and I'm going to be masking off the spaceship. It really didn't need to be all that complicated. I just grabbed a scrap piece of paper, put it on the line, and then stamped over top. There was no need to create an actual mask for the spaceship because it was just pretty much a straight line. And I stamped the alien in there so it looks like it's sitting in the spaceship. And I'm also going to stamp my sentiment, so I decided to stamp this banner stamp here that comes with the stamp set. And then what's really cool is if you have one of these, what I like to do is I like to make my sentiment curve as well. So I'm grabbing my stamp press, putting it over top, and I'm able to follow the curve of the banner in order to lay my stamp. And because stamps are sticky, they'll stick usually really well. I find some stamp companies don't stick so well when you're trying to manipulate the stamps this way, but these ones stamped absolutely no problem, and I stamped the Happy Birthday Human inside the banner. So I just need to Copic color these and cut them out for my card. So I started off with YG03 to color the alien, and I darkened them up using YG07. I didn't bother doing a lot of shadowing or anything like that, which is why I put you in such fast mode. I'm just coloring the main color and then adding a little bit of darker areas. And then I'm going to go in with some R37 for the mouth, and the tongue I did in purple, and then I'm using some of my BG colors here for the spaceship. I wanted to make it a really colorful spaceship because the background of the galaxy is so dark. I found that by adding really bright colors in the spaceship, it just really makes it pop against the galaxy background. And I used some gray as an alternative color to the other stripes on the spaceship as well in N4 and N6, and just darkened up some of the areas there. So after I finished Copic coloring and cutting everything out, I grabbed a card base, which measures 11 by 4¼ inches, and then I folded it in half at 5½ inches. I added my tag to the card with some Tombow Mono Liquid adhesive, and then I added the spaceship as well as the sentiment onto the card, and that was pretty much the end, except for I wanted to add a little bit of embellishment by using some of these small stamps. So I used my Memento black ink and stamped some of these stars here just to add a little bit of decoration. That's the end of today's card tutorial. I hope you'll check out GSD Stamps or play along with the AAA card challenge this week. All the supplies used are listed below in the video description as well as on my blog. You can click up at the top to check out my blog. You can click on either one of the moving videos to check out my other videos from this week. Or you can click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in a couple days for another video.